Go, my first volunteer. Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one. Oh, I hope you saw that. I caught it on camera, so. That fish, there was no indication that fish was up in here. Just confidence that he was. Damn it. That one about got me, man. That was another monster. He jumped, but good God, he dang near ripped the rod out of my hand. Holy smokes. I was thinking about going home. Actually, I was thinking about getting something to eat and waiting for these clouds to thick up a little. Good God almighty, same spot. That fish just stripped it out. I mean, I almost lost my grip on my pole. I'm surprised he threw it. Good God. Talk about excitement. Man, that was another big giant fish. I got a glimpse of him as he jumped, but hell, I was messing with my rod trying to get it back in order. Holy smokes. I think I need to get bigger hooks. Oh, Lord. Finally. That figures. Well, I had him on long enough to get the camera rolling. Had a nice fish, but he wasn't no giant. Alright, folks. Welcome back to FishTales fly tying. Let me flatten the barb on this hook. That's about a number 2, probably. O'Shaughnessy, I'll bet. Nice steel hook. Probably for salt water, but it don't matter. Because what's going to be different about this frog fly is the fact that it's going to have a stinger hook on it, which is the first order of business. I got this size 6 prefabbed with line on it and everything, number 6. So let's get this process rolling here. First thing you want to do is thread up the hook nice and strong. Make a slight adjustment on the camera. There we go. Alright, now that I got this on here, I'm going to put this, I'm going to cut that little excess off. I don't want it getting in the way. Just about right there. Now you make sure it does not twist on me. Having that thing run hook up is the most important part. And being, we're getting close, okay. Run it back, and I want it to hang down just a little, so I'm going down the shaft. Oh, there you go. That is perfect. If it'll stay like that, I've got a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Now, and this is really strong thread. Alright, there's my base. I don't think a fish is going to be able to pull that out. So, the rest of the fly is just typical Froggy. Next time I go to Madisonville, to Fish Lake Madison, I'll be using this fly. Nothing better than a brand new fly. They have beat the living crap out of the one I've been using. Oh, I hear a kitty crying. I let him inside because it's raining, but he's a flea bag. We got a flea problem down here in the south. Lots of them. Lots of flea problems. Alright, we're just going to let this stuff drape over top of this hook. Just like that. It shouldn't interfere with anything, so now I got a little bit of flash. Doesn't take much. I'm going to go ahead and run that. That'll be good right there. I want 2 good leg feathers that are real similar to each other. Oh, those two are a pair. See there, I got two of these. Nice pair. Now what I like to do is turn these so that they're facing out, so they spring out. Alright, we're gonna take this thing, we're gonna lay it on the side of this hook, and we're gonna wrap it and hope it stays in position. You put one on, and you match it with the other. And I do that by lining up the tips of them as best as possible. Right there. There we go. And if they go in a spread eagle pattern, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Alright. I'm going to tie these down so that the shaft gets built up. And cut them off close to the front. Building up the shaft helps hold the foam when we get to that step, which on this fly is going to be pretty dang quick because I'm just using the same. I'm going to use one of these extra bright chartreuse, one that's fairly fat because I want a pretty good size hackle on the back of this fly. I'm going to cut it about here so I don't get too much of the fluff in there or the thickness of the shaft. Tie this on toward the back. Secure it as best you can. You don't want that. I'm about ready to run out of thread. I'm going to do a good hackle. Could get my little hackle plier. Look at that. Got it handy too. Hang on to it better. Oh, now don't let loose. I'm gonna use almost all this feather. Nice little bright collar. And I think I'm going to give this one a black head. I've been using chartreuse and it's been working real good until the last 2 weeks or so, when the fish have either changed their preference or they have moved out to deep water and only coming in to feed, which I think is actually more the case, since I missed those big ones this morning. I missed 2 fish this morning right off the bat. I just got there. I saw a fish move and head toward where I was plopping and dropping my fly, and I got real good position on it. Dropped that fly in the water and he busted it. I had him on for a second, but I didn't. I thought I had a good hook set, but it did not stick at all. So this little stinger in the back, it's going to be a big surprise for these fish. It's going to get them, hopefully. I probably should have gone up to a size 4, but we're going to start with a size 6, something small. Alright, there's the first part. That looks pretty good. It's leveled out. This is only 2 feathers. I think I haven't been doing myself any big favors by adding a bunch of bulk to the back of the fly. But those should stay pretty well clear of that. Alright, let's make the head. I'm going to do this a little different. I've got this really thick, it's about a 1/4 inch thick foam. I'm going to cut a piece of it, oversized always. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a groove down the center of that foam so that it sits nice and surrounds the thing, and then I'm going to take other black foam and come around the outside. Let me do that. I'm going to do that off camera. I use my poker bobkin thingamajigger, and I use a candle. I'll heat it up and I'll melt that in there. I'll bring you back in just a minute. I made this nice little head. That's 3 layers of foam, a very thick layer in the middle, just wrapped, and I cut a groove in it, or I melted a groove in it so you can see clear through it. Yeah, there you can see clear through that thing. Now, that just makes it possible to slip this on and glue the heck out of it, and it will stick like iron. So we just do that. We put a good coat of glue right here. Let it sit for a second. Wiggle this back into place. Get some good exposure on the front. Give it a second and it'll seize up on that head. Once that dries good, it will seize on there and it will not come loose. Alright, now I got two things yet to do. I get a couple eyeballs. I got two. Basically what I'll do is I'll glue these eyes to this piece of foam here, either where they're double so they get double thick, it'll be buggy looking eyes, or eyes that are a little flatter if I do it on the single. I think I'll do it on the single. Let me get that done and I'll be back in a minute. I got the eyes glued to this. There's an excess amount of glue. It's hard to get a small enough spot. Cat, what's your problem? You hungry? Like always. But anyway, once that glue dries and it's all clear, I'll use my hole punch and knock those things out and then glue them to the body. Be back in a minute. Let me take care of this cat. Cat's taken care of. A lot of times, to get this stuff to dry proper, you got to spread it around. And I'll take this and start doing this to spread that stuff around. And get it nice and thin. And of course you test it by sticking to your fingers to it. Boy, that super glue loves skin. It works better on skin than anything. Okay, there. Now I got it. They're dry enough. This is the easiest way I have found to mount eyes. Because see, now I just put that eyeball right in the center of that hole and cut it out. So I get this, a little teeny tiny eyeball that I can stick on anything, including my fingers. Okay, I dropped it. Alright, let me get the second one centered up real pretty. Boom, knock it out. There you go. Now I got two little eyeballs. Let's put them on the fly. I'm also going to add a front on this fly. Nice little dot of glue. Stupid glue. I don't know. If you ask me, putting an eye on a popper just makes it, man. It just makes it. Is that a double? That's a double. There's easier ways to do this too. You can just cut a hole and then put a magic marker on it. Use red and black or any chartreuse, because as soon as you hit it with super glue, it will turn red. Oh shoot, I dropped it on my pants. Now let's stick that to my skin. Ooh, there it goes, it smoked. Do you know that super glue, when it goes to dry, it smokes. And it gets very hot. Alright, those are nice and uneven. Just the way I like them. I don't like a perfect fly. Perfect flies don't work very well, since I can't make one. Okay. Now we're going to put a front on this fly to make it pop. I got a Dr. Pepper, 2-liter Dr. Pepper bottle. You go like that. And depending on if you want it this way or this way, you know how the bend in this stuff is. So if you want it this way, then you put the hole down the middle. It'll latch around that where there it is. It'll lock in on the front of the fly. Here, let me heat up my poker, and I'm going to do this one side to side, I think. And get that nice and hot, and you just melt a little slot in the center, or close to the center, like this. See how it's got a little slot? And you slip this slot over the hook, and when you turn it sideways, it locks in. You put some super glue behind that and call it good. That super glue will hold that stuff in place. And what I like to do is take a toothpick or my bobkin. Alright, got a good bit of glue there. Let that seep down. Move this around a little bit. Okay, it's all the way through. Then I can take a toothpick and just push it up through here. Maybe. I have to use my bobkin. Where did my bobkin go? Here it is. Put this. And then we take this and we go like this. There. Now that'll hold that plastic against the foam until that glue dries. And I've only had one of these fall off, and that was because I didn't do a very good job of gluing it. This process works. And then I'll come back and I'll coat this fly with super glue, especially on the back and over the eyes. Just a good coating, and let that dry. That will harden and waterproof that foam. So now I got one with nice yellow bulgy eyeballs. See how that works? Oop, I'll let that get away from you. There we go. Alright, we'll let that thing dry and get back to it and put some legs on the front, which is what I got my needles for. I buy these spinnerbaits from Wally World. They're a whopping $1 for a spinnerbait, but I buy them for the spinnerbait skirt because it makes great legs. I like to put 3 on there. I'm glad y'all can't see the rest of my bench. It is a mess. And my whole room's a mess. But whatever. First thing you gotta do is take your 3 or 2 or 3 or 4, however many you want to put on the front of this fly, and you do a granny knot right in the middle. That's what actually holds it in the foam. Try to get that granny knot close to the middle, like that. Pull it tight. Oh, missed a couple strands. There we go. Pull it tight so it's a nice little small knot. Now you take this and you push it through your needle, because you're going to run it through the center of that body. Ooh, there it goes. Did you see that smoke? When that stuff dries, it smokes. I tried to show you when I was building that head, because it smoked real good and you could see it as that stuff crystallizes. Cat, you got all you need. Good night. Okay, we're just going to push this right through the middle. Looks pretty straight. I'm going to pull that all the way through. Alright, get a hold of this thing. Which side is? There it is. Come on, come loose. There we go. Alright. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these and pull it just enough to get that knot. See their knot? You can pull it through and park it in the middle of the foam, and that will never come loose. And if you want to take them out, you just rip them out. But I don't do that very often. Now this glue is attempting to dry. I'm going to turn it upside down. Let that glue run across the face of that plastic. Whoa, lost my gizmo. Alright, we're going to put this back in place like that, and we'll leave it upside down for a minute. Give that glue time to dry. It can take a while, but boy, once it sets, it's good to go. Alright, I'll bring you back when that stuff dries. My AccuWeather weather station. It's 93 degrees with a heat index of 112. Either that thing's gone goofy or I'm just getting tough in my old age, because that doesn't bother me. Hard to believe, but it's still telling me to stay inside and tie flies. I might go out this evening though, but we've got rain coming. But those are not bad conditions. Yay. That thing has pretty well dried. Now I've got to shape the front of this thing. I'm going to trim that down so that it's round. At least after answering my phone, and probably turn the radio off so you don't get a copyright strike. I'm about ready to kick that cat back outside. Even though it's hot and miserable and all that, he won't quit eating. That cat eats so dang much. Alright, I start this process by first just chopping off the sides. And I'll square up the top. More or less. And do the same to the bottom. So now I got it down to size. Then I take my toenail clippers. They have a nice curved front. And I'll start to round this thing up. So it cups more water. But basically it sits in the water and that clear part pretty much disappears. Ooh, look at the little stinger. That's a surprise for them. They got a surprise waiting for them. That's pretty close. Fairly round. A little more on the low side. That also needs a little more time to dry, but it's getting there. I got the eyes all wacky. Normally what I'll do is I'll push those flies all the way to the front so they touch that plastic. But this one, he got one eye a little further back. Now that super glue doesn't do anything to this silicone. It will not stick to this spinnerbait skirt. It may think it will, but as soon as it stretches it pops off. There you go. So for the most part, that's a finished fly. I'll do some more sealing on it maybe. Yeah, I'll seal the bottom. Put a little bit of super glue here on the bottom. There we go. Use a toothpick to spread it around. That just does a, you know, it gives the foam some toughness that it doesn't have without it. It also really does waterproof it. So you can watch that stuff soak in. I got a little bit more. And there you go. I'm gonna let that sit and dry. Put it in here upside down. Just for grins and giggles. There you go. We'll let that sit while we process the video, and maybe, depending on how this weather plays out today, well, I got a lot of glue on this thing. I think they make a super glue drying accelerator. Something you can spray on this, it'll dry that stuff up immediately. But that's not important because it will dry given time. It'll cure. I could probably hit it with a blow dryer and it'd dry up too. Alright, there you go. There's one froggy fly, simple froggy fly with a stinger. And I didn't flatten that barb. I'm going to have to flatten that barb because that hook will be a booger to get out. And you know, you should always flatten the barb before you start the fly. Especially if it's a cheap hook like this one. There we go, that's good enough. That'll make it, because I have, and I'm sure some of you have done the same, is that you build the whole fly. Oh, look at there, it's still, you build a whole fly, you spend a few minutes making a fly, and you realize that you didn't flatten the barb, so you go to flatten the barb and the hook breaks. That's always great. Alright, well, next time out at the lake, I'm going to see if they like a black body, chartreuse collar, pretty legs, black head, yellow eyeballs. It's got some nice colors. Probably should have used orange. But anyway, let's put this together and I'll see you at the lake. I swear that cat will eat until he blows up. He doesn't get fat though. How's that?